Well, welcome everybody. I'll give you a mega welcome because this is Mega Formula Racing. Uh, my name's Webbo. I'm your commentator for the evening and for the next 7 weeks. This is the start of a new season at MFR. We are headed out to Bahrain for a short track 100% race with short qualifying, and we're looking to get ourselves going and just collecting our drivers as you can imagine and expect. Welcome to anybody watching on the stream. My apologies, I seem to have got the live chat disabled, so I will try and fix that. But just bear with me. But we will have our server owner Shadow will be here. We'll be racing in the Williams tonight, for the Williams team. I know a few of our drivers, and I've encountered them before, and I'm gonna get to know some new guys tonight. So yeah, look forward to finding out what these guys are made of. See their times and their performance. This is Division 1. As I say, first of 7 races for this season every week, 4 PM UK time on a Saturday afternoon. Let's take you through the next few races on the grid. We will be headed out, as I say, Bahrain right now. Then we'll be going to Hungary next week. Singapore should be interesting. We've got the Netherlands, Britain, China and Mexico to come. Just still collecting our drivers, so do bear with me, trying to get through here, and we'll try to get some track action for you very soon. Okay, in terms of our Division 1 drivers driving with us tonight, I think we're expecting 13 full-time members to be with us. That will be, as I say, Shadow first and foremost. Then we have we've got Panda. I'm going to say Jonimator. Should be driving with us tonight. Hasn't turned up yet. We've got MC Gamer. There, Lightning joins us. Lightning's one of the drivers I know better than some of the others, as well as MC Gamer and Shadow. Fright Source. We've got Pyro. Chris. Stu is here from Scotland. We've got Jack. Jack Stegel there. And so some more still expected, I think, to turn up fairly soon. Currently 9 drivers, but in terms of reserve drivers, we've got a couple of reserves coming as well. We look forward to seeing them as soon as possible. We'd really like to get moving, I guess. So yeah, some extra reserves I think are coming as well. We've still got room for about 10 more, I think. On my own tonight, might be able to get some friends to help me at different points in the season, but we'll do this and see how we go tonight, shall we? There we go. First race in the season, it's always going to be a little bit difficult to get everything going for us. In terms of who we're expecting to do well, let me look at last season's results, and we will see that in Division 1, Pim was the winner of Division 1 with, I think, 2 wins, 3 podiums, and 90 points overall. Then we have Max. He came. I think he got 2 wins. Hazza, Zam, MC Gamer, Shadow, Zandervort, and Ruff the Next Day were your top 8 from Division 1 last time out. So those will be the guys to watch. Try and give everybody a fair shake of screen time as much as I can. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how everything pans out very soon. I'll keep you abreast if I can of some of the chat in the main Discord server. I think if you contact our server owner Shadow through Discord or PlayStation, I'm sure he'll help you get an invite into the league. I know for a fact that that Lightning managed to race this track just earlier in the week, I believe. So I'll be expecting good things from Lightning tonight. I'm sure he'll appreciate the extra pressure. And MC Gamer, famously for me, someone who disappears off for his dinner mid-race. Hopefully with an earlier start time, that won't be so much of a problem for him. I also know Ashtube, so hi to Ashtube there. He's joining, so he'll be another driver who's had a lot of experience racing around Bahrain Short very recently. Still just waiting to see who we have showing up. So we've just got Steven's just turned up. Steven from the Netherlands. We're represented as per usual across Great Britain and the Netherlands. It seems quite a normal kind of mix of nationalities. A bit of a shame we haven't got a wider mix, perhaps. But looking forward to getting started here. Got our 12 drivers so far. Must appreciate the difficulty of organising everybody together in one go, especially for the start of the weekend. I don't know what the weather's like in the Netherlands right now, but it's absolutely glorious in the UK, and I'm sitting indoors, so I don't know if that's affecting some people's timeliness for attendance or attendance overall. It's quite possible that the sun's out and they're outside making use of the good weather. Looks like we're ready to get going. Drivers getting ready, and we'll head out to qualifying. Like I say, 100% race for the short distance of Bahrain. Works out roughly just a slightly longer race than a normal race, but a 50% is just way too short. And we'll expect a lot of on-track action. This track is very difficult to pull a decent gap from the car behind, so we tend to end up with lots and lots of battles and slipstreaming DRS moves throughout the lap, just because of how short the track is, and there's not many high-speed corners to spread the field out. Panda just getting comfortable, and hopefully he's had time to prepare himself for today's race. I wonder how much practice our drivers have been doing. little bit slow getting the loading screens together. Everybody's internet connection sorted out. Let's see who manages to get out there on track first. Who's got their setup ready to go and feeling confident for their first full attack lap. See the full length of the pit lane, and as usual in Bahrain, it looks like we're likely to have a dry race. Just to mention that when I commentate on Bahrain short, I use the full Bahrain track as for corner names. So turn 4 replaces turn 9 effectively. So I'll be talking corner numbers from 9 to certainly 10 onwards will be the back end of the track, and we'll probably just refer to the first few laps. Here comes Shadow, first on track. He's organised the whole thing today, and he's obviously feeling pretty ready to get going. I'm sure it's been a bit of a wait for him. Took an unusual line through turn 1. I haven't seen that line taken before in preparation. Just preserving all the battery and getting the tyres up to temperature, as you'd expect. He's about to start his first flying lap, so let's ride on board and see Shadow. Can he lead this league from the very front? So full speed, long drag down to the first corner. Slams on the brakes. Nice apex there, and it's just a matter of picking a line through 2, hang the car out wide for 4, and there you see the devilish turn 9 that we won't be playing with tonight. A 21.8 is his first sector time, taking this very wide line into turn 10 and through 11, probably full speed, flat out. As long as you don't touch that curb, you're okay. Nice big apex taken through turn 12, and then we're heading down to the final corner. It's over that quickly. Most of our qualifying times, I'm sure, will be under a minute, and he's going to cross the line on a 58.6. It's his first time, which was beaten by his teammate Chris already. We've got Stephen on a lap in the Ferrari. Just a little bit late picking up the throttle through the final corner. How is that going to affect his run down to the line? And it's 4th place with Pyro going fastest so far, and Bright Source just ahead of Stephen. We've got here Obi-Twan. He's yet to register a time, but he's out there on the soft tyres. Pretty sure everybody will go soft tyres for qualifying tonight. There is a slight advantage to starting on the better tyre. Ashtube gets our slowest time put in so far, so he'll be pushing harder in its next few laps. Obi-Twan's slight kick of oversteer on the way out of the final corner. I think that's a warm-up lap though, so he'll be full beans now heading out there. Where's Lightning? Only just coming out, so wonder what the delay there was for Lightning. Jack has invalidated his first lap. MC Gamer hasn't started yet, and here comes Stu. This is a slightly slower time, I guess, 59.8, so a last place for him so far of all our runners. Obi-Twan, bad news on his fast lap. We caught him just hit the wall, and that is session over. He will not start from anywhere further up than 16th tonight, so really bad luck for him. Looks like Lightning swerving dramatically and perhaps tactically taking out one of the braking markers there. Pulls off track to get out of the way of one of the Alpha Tauris, I think. Is that Panda? So Panda on a lap here We'll see how he's getting on. So on the last sector of the lap, that felt smooth to my eye anyway. And he heads out down to the line, 59.4. So I think Pyro just bettered his time, which is cool. Stephen's on the way in the pits. Everyone going for fresh tyres. I don't think many drivers are trying for a back-to-back lap here. Lightning's still driving quite erratically. He's invalidated that lap anyway. MC Gamer hasn't come out of the pits yet. Ashtube, there was some suspicion, I think, from himself that he wasn't going to make it tonight for the start of qualifying, but he has got there and he has got out, so good to see Ashtube ready to race. It's turn 1, goes right across turn 2's apex and invalidates at the earliest point on the lap potentially, so needs to be a little bit less greedy on that apex next time through. Fright Source is on a lap now, breaking down into turn 1. 2 attempts there to get the right line. Very, very close. We've got a yellow flag throughout the lap, and a slight bit of oversteer again out of 3-4 for Fright Source. Purple time for him on this lap. Perhaps a purple time overall, given it's the second run of laps. Yellow changed to green on his way through the high speed section. Gets the car stopped nicely there. Penultimate corner. It's all about your braking and car positioning through here. Throttle pickup. Yeah, not too bad out of there. Fright Source coming across the line in a 58.4, so P3 for him right now. Let's go down to Chris, who's under his time, and the times are pretty close. It's achievable for him to try and get pole position here. Certainly within the realms of possibility. It's going to be close, one way or the other. He's 1.5 tenths under, which is more than he needs, so it's all about the final corner here. Tiny bit of smoke off the inside front tyre, and pole position for Chris, 58.0. I am expecting, I think, to see a 57 time tonight. Looks like we've got Shender actually on track, so again, I've seen Shender on previous occasions. I know he's got a lot of good speed. I know that he also occasionally will listen in to the streams when we're broadcasting. Down to the final corner. Sprint to the line for Shender. Will this be a 57? It will, a 57.9, straight into pole position time. Brilliant lap from Shender, so very fortuitous, managed to be watching him at exactly that moment. But here comes Pyro. He's defending his lap. He's under his best time, which should see him back onto the front row. Oh, just outside, just a tiny wiggle through turn 11 and an invalidation, sadly. Let's look at Stephen. He's a bit over his time. I think he's just drifting around at the moment, just waiting to get a clear lap out of traffic. Here comes Shadow. I'm not quite sure how he managed to keep his lap time going there, but he's bailed out of this one. Not happy with that run. And yeah, you can't really blame him. That was big wiggle on turn 11. So not what he wanted. Here comes Stu though. Sprint for the line. 58, 59, 59.1. A big improvement for him, but only good enough for 8th right now. The times, of course, will be super close, given given the short track distance. Jules is coming out for his first fast lap attempt. So car stopped into the final corner. Pick a traction point. Feed the throttle in nicely. 58.0, gets out of the throttle. I think he's pretty happy with that, but running backwards on the start-finish straight, I think this is pretty suspect. I doubt that's legal behaviour from Jules there. I think he's heading into trying to go short into the pit lane, and that is potentially why we have yellow flags in all three sectors. I'm not sure how much time he's saving here, having to stop every few seconds as well. So not the best kind of tactics there from Jules, perhaps. I don't know if it's explicitly against the rules. Symbolix invalidates the first lap, this particular lap. We're down to 7 minutes of time left now. So time for Lightning, hopefully, to get on with it, and he's had a good middle sector. Flirting with track limits there. Bit of a lock-up into the final corner, but he needs a banker now, and then he needs to be able to push really hard for the rest of the session. P8 for Lightning. I wonder if he's tempted to go for a second fast lap. Don't think so. That looked like an early braking point for him. Shadow's out again and has again invalidated. I don't know if you've got unlimited sets of tyres, but he's burning through them with these invalidation attempts. Back with Panda now. Shender's gone pole. Shender from Chris from Jules. All got the same prefix for various league identities that they perform in. So Shender, Chris, Jules, and Pyro. Pyro breaking the VER league chain there we've got at the top. Panda slightly faster than I think his last time, but I think there's probably a little bit more to gain here. He's currently P14, crosses the line, and unfortunately stays P14, but he did improve and it's got closer at the top. Chris has invalidated. Shender's pushing hard again. Shender's under his time again through two sectors. Oh, just invalidated on the way out there and was able to head into the pits. Looks like Jules is pushing again very, very hard. What's Pyro got as a response here? It's not hugely faster through sector 2 for him. Crosses the line. A better time, so onto the front row for Pyro in a 57.910. So far, Chris looking better than everybody else on this 57.8. Let's check in who else is currently lapping. Looks like Panda's gone round again for a double stack time. Does manage to get off the rear of the grid there and gets P13 on that run. Symbolix has invalidated again, but Jules has not. He's slightly faster, needs a little bit more in the next two sectors in order to beat this, and there he goes, invalidates across that curb again. So not successful this time. Looks like Chris has pushed way too hard, certainly risking hitting the wall there, and yeah, can't really get his car back going again. I'm not sure that was the best safe rejoin to the track either. So just avoiding Panda, who'd stopped on the racing line as well. Drama at the end of people's laps here, people slowing down for the pits, and yeah, that's not going to help anybody. Pretty sure these tyres are done for Chris. Pyro no quicker. Symbolix heading out there again, very slightly under his time, but there's quite a big gap between him and the top four, so he needs to get a big chunk of time in these next two sectors to have a hope of starting in a better position. Drivers really running very wide on the way out of that turn, that penultimate corner, and you feel when you're watching that you should really get back onto the racetrack as quickly as possible, because people are really struggling to get the cars off there. We've got Schender out there again slightly under. Needs to be near perfect. That looks like he had bags of grip through turn 10. Into 12 there. Big lockup, but didn't affect his line. Gets off that curb nice and timely, and is 2/10 under his time at the moment. This could be a challenge for pole. Again, another snatch of brake, but runs down to the line. It comes at you quite quickly here, and it's pole for Schender, 57.6. So very nice through that final sector, and that is as close to maximum as you're going to get, I think, from Schender. That looked nailed on all the way through, so brilliant. It looks like Lightning's just got P5, so I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with that. And there's time to go again and get yourself another run through. Okay, a couple of disagreements going on in the Discord. I think generally that's relevant to the Ash Tube Panda issue that we witnessed on stream. So here comes MC Gamer. Never know quite whether to call him MC Gamer or Muck Gamer, as in a Scottish way. I think he told me he didn't mind very much, but blame one of my co-commentary colleagues for imprinting MC Gamer on my mind. Nice big jump up to P9 for him, 58.5. So great driving. What's Chris got in response? It's not hugely better through this sector, so he can fully send it into the final two corners and just hope it sticks. No, invalidation. It's 1 minute remaining of qualifying, so it's now or never for our drivers. Doesn't look like Jules is going to do anything special here, but he's got time to get round to the start finish line. Any drivers in the pits now, I don't think they're going to do any better. Lightning pits. Simbalix, familiar story. Every time I come to see Simbalix on a run, he has invalidated, so obviously pushing near to the maximum. What about Shadow? Slightly under. He's done an identical time to Fright Source, so this should see him leap up to P6. Beautiful. So Shadow starting on the third row right now. There's a Ferrari off in the grass on the start finish line. Looks like they've decided to retire there. We have said goodbye to a few of our drivers so far. This one is Simbalix waiting in the dirt here. That could risk himself a penalty, actually, I think. Sitting still too long on the track. And of course we get yellow flags as well. Time up on track. Pyro. Jules and Chris won't improve, and neither will Lightning, who's currently 4th. So Pyro just going out for a glory run here. He's slightly faster. I don't know, is it possible to beat Schender through this track? But of course Schender has managed to get himself disqualified. I think that Ferrari sitting on the edge of the start-finish straight was it. Pyro getting out of the way, I think, of Fright Source there. That was very sporting. I think Pyro was actually up on his time. Fright Source a quarter of a second faster than his previous best. So let's see where this runs Fright Source out to. He's going to cross the line and get a P4, so just deposes Lightning. So that's a shame for Lightning, but the last time, the optimal time to cross the line was Fright Source, beautifully timed there, and he managed to take full advantage of everything, all the track conditions, and get in a P4. So we'll watch his car while the session comes to a close. Good session. 3 laps under, well, I think 4 laps under 57 seconds at least, but seeing the end of Schender and Simbalix means that they will start from the back. But I tell you what, that's going to be fun to watch those guys. It's going to be really fun to watch Schender coming through from the back. Cars will now get ready for a formation lap, I believe. There we go. So, reminder of your grid that we've got there is we've got Pyro took pole from Jules, Chris and Fright Sauce. So McLaren, Renault, Williams, Racing Point, and then Alfa Romeo of Lightning in 5th. We've got Shadow in 6th, MC Gamer 7th, Jack in 8th, Stephen in 9th, Stu in 10th. Panda is there in 11th place, Ashtube 12th, Obi-Twan for 13th, Zim in 14th, Shenda in 15th, and Symbolix will start at the back of the grid in 16th place tonight. Okay, intriguing, definitely interesting to watch the plight of Shenda and how he's going to make up for those problems in qualifying. Okay. We've got one claim there that that Shenda was reversing on track and got disqualified. It might have been him. It might have just been contact with the wall. I know we saw him off on the start-finish straight. I wonder if he collided with another car or just went and stopped on track. I do think it's the kind of thing you need to be pretty careful of in this game, driving off track, cutting corners to get back, certainly reversing to get into the pit lane, things like that. We're about ready to get going in our race. So the cars move away for their formation lap. Some of them are just sitting still and maybe have gone off for something else. We see Jules immediately smashing into the wall and has been disqualified. So potentially we'll see Jules start on pretty bad tyres. There, Shenda promoted up to P13 somehow. Really not sure how the game's working all this out and changing the driving order. Obi-Twan possibly slow off the line, I think maybe. Some cars going super slowly. There's Ashtube just holding up, I think, holding up Shenda there. We've got Panda has got away from the grid. Ferraris close together in the formation lap here, but I think Stephen's just making space again. MC Gamer warming up the tyres. It's Lightning in the best looking car on the grid, in my opinion anyway. They're on P4 in the Alpha. So McLaren, Williams, Racing Point, Alfa Romeo are all at the start. So nice mixed grid, and no one team dominating. So whoever picked the teams, it's either working out really well or it was deliberate. So I know we've got a number of reserve drivers here tonight, so we'll see how they get on. Chris just really slowing the grid down here. Really not ready to get going yet. Not kind of driving around in order. I wonder if the other drivers are going to get a bit frustrated with that. It doesn't take much to get other drivers frustrated, let me tell you, in my experience watching these drivers. A night race around Bahrain short, and we look forward to seeing what everyone manages to do. In terms of tyres, yeah, as you'd expect, the majority of the second half of the grid are going to be there on those medium tyres to start. Anyway, we get going. It's lights out and go in Bahrain. Pyro away well. Fright Sauce looks like he's got the jump on Chris already. A little bit of wing trading. We have got full damage, I think. So I think the idea is to discourage other drivers from too close contact, but it looks like we've had quite a bit of drama further down the grid. Cars just jostling for position, and there goes what looks to be a revenge attack from the Williams driver of Stu. Or was it in fact, no, it must have, yeah, I think that was Stu. No, I think that was Chris, excuse me. So we've been triggered into a safety car, or a virtual safety car anyway, but I think there's a good chance that one or two drivers have suffered race-ending damage as a result of Chris's actions. Got a Ferrari off the track there in the background of Schender and a Haas. So that's not going to help with returning back to racing. Looking a little bit chaotic here. One of the Renaults heads into the pits. We did see Renault bodywork right at the start, and of course our grid is completely mixed up. Red Bull is defending currently, I believe, from the Haas driver of Zim. Schender's picked up a 10-second penalty. Jules is in the pits, repairing the front wing. Yeah, Pyro's away though, not bothered by what's going on behind him. Pyro, I think, from Fright Source. Jules waiting in the pits, so his grid position is completely off. So far as the grid works its way out, it looks like Obi-Twan was the one who managed to escape that fracas at the start with the best luck. We've also lost Schender as well as Symbolics and Chris. But Pyro, fastest lap, fastest driver right now. I believe is still technically in the lead of the race. Then we've got Fright Source not far away. Lightning just treading gently on these tyres at the moment. It seems to be getting a lot of vibration going through the car there on the screen right now. I think Lightning is in third, and we've got another virtual safety car. Shadow just tailing Lightning very, very closely. Hoping to try and get the jump on Lightning as they go back to green flag racing. Yeah, we've got so current order is Pyro. It looks like we've finally sorted our grid out. Pyro from Fright Source, Lightning in third, Shadow is in fourth, very closely behind. We're still on virtual safety car. We've got Steven, Zim, Jack, MC Gamer. Looks like we're green. Back to green racing, and here's our two closest drivers at the moment. Shadow behind Lightning. Shadow's got a good run. I wonder, will Lightning defend to the inside? Yes, he does. Gives him the outside, but only just. And then we'll get that typical Bahrain side-by-side kind of racing action. Lightning cuts across the bow of Shadow, and they head down to the next DRS zone, where I'm sure Lightning will end up defending again. Further up the grid, there's a battle for the lead as well. Not quite as close as this one, but I'm keeping my eye on that lead as well. Interesting that we've lost all the VER drivers. One of them has, and they've taken Panda and Ash with them, unfortunately. So early exit for those guys. I'm sure that some of the incidents will be investigated at the end. I'm pretty certain there was a revenge attack from Chris, which is bad news. Lightning seems to have got back into a rhythm and has gapped Shadow slightly there. We've got one of the Renaults being lapped, who is just getting out the way. Jules is still in the race though right now. I think he's been lapped because of that really long pit stop. But again, Vapor Shadow has managed to close right up to the back of Lightning, and oh look, Lightning got a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. He'll give Shadow the inside because there's multiple lines you can take around these fast sweeping bends. Lightning trying to hold the inside there through 11. Drifts out slightly wide, but he's able to stay away from Shadow at the moment. The question is this going to slow these two drivers' main race down? Lightning gives Vapor Shadow the position because Lightning wants the DRS detection. Seen these tactics before from Lightning, where he will give up track position in return for DRS. That looked like not a lot of racing room being given to each other. I think this could end up badly. Lightning just has to back out of the apex there as Shadow comes across his bow, but of course that was what Lightning did to him in the previous lap. Lightning with neither of these drivers have got DRS for some reason. Can't quite trace that one. But yeah, Lightning hoping to stay with Shadow through these fast turns and get himself the DRS detection. We've got a virtual safety car. That explains, of course, the lack of DRS. I'm assuming Shadow will be awake to Lightning's tactics. Tries to get the jump on the way out of the last corner, and does that nullify Lightning's gap? No, Lightning's close enough here for DRS. Opens up again. It's only lap 7. Sadly, we've lost over half the field in those early laps, but I'm sure these guys will continue to fight hard. Lightning gets the place back, so retakes third. Ends up giving up the inside line through 4. And they run again. This time, though, it is Shadow who gets the DRS, even despite being ahead. Lightning going for a move under braking. Tiny wheel touch between the two drivers. Will Lightning be able to get track position through 11? This is going to be super tight between these guys. Oh, great racing from these two, putting on a great show for us. So let's hope these two can make up for the early lap difficulties with the other drivers there. We've lost MC Gamer as well, and Jules. Had they just quit and disappeared on us? Down to 7 runners. It's going to be a long race with 7 guys left in the race. Let's hope the 2 on screen at least can keep the gaps. So a launch down the inside of Shadow. Shadow takes 3rd place again. The gap to the car ahead is currently 4.5 seconds to Fright Source. Will these tactics either use their tyres too much, or is it in fact going to enhance their overall speed and allow them to get closer to Fright Source? It would be unusual. Usually these guys, look at up and under from Shadow, gets underneath Lightning there through turn 11. Really nice line from him. Does this mean that he will give up DRS? He will not. So Lightning will run down the start-finish straight yet again, open up that DRS now, and hope to challenge down into turn 1 again. So it's quite possible these two will end up being our show for the whole night. Lightning giving that inside lineup to Shadow. Shadow hangs on for all he's worth through there. Lightning off into the sand. Should get DRS though. And they keep on fighting. It's only lap 9, guys. Let's try and keep it as clean as possible through here. Looks like Shadow just pushing Lightning slightly wide through there. Leaders are separated slightly. Look, 1.5 seconds in 2 laps is what these two on screen have managed to lose as a result of lose relative to Fright Source as a result of this fight. But Pyro still leads our race in McLaren. Fright Source in the Racing Point is 2nd, and then these guys on screen as Lightning makes another challenge on Shadow on the inside. Looks like he's going to get the apex. And You feel Lightning is giving slightly more racing room than Shadow through here. Lightning ended up on the curb, which killed all of his traction and momentum. He comes at him again though into turn 9. Perhaps better to wait though. Was that a move that was just too adventurous? Perhaps it cost him a lot, but he held on to it. He held on to that time, so he's going to have a couple of laps just to catch back up. Meanwhile, Stephen in the Ferrari looks to be lurking like a shark behind. You can see he's been watching this battle. 6.7 the gap now to Fright Source. It'd be good if these guys can start driving that little bit faster. Otherwise, the front two on the grid are just going to be completely out of range. Big late lunge there in defense from Shadow. Lightning keeps putting himself at Shadow's mercy on the inside and risking both of their races. I think he committed to that line quite early on. You get a view of the Ferrari behind, who's can't wait for these guys to take each other out or continue slowing each other down. Lightning trying to use the outside line through turn 10. That will become the inside line through 11. But if he comes out of there in the lead, then it's going to be a problem coming through here for the DRS. I'm pretty sure Lightning gave up DRS again there. Immediately try and take him on the way in to the last corner. Kind of compromised his line a bit there. Let's check out the tyre situation while these guys continue to fight tooth and nail. Here comes Lightning down the inside again. What kind of line is he going to take? Is he going to drive Shadow out? No. Loses traction slightly, so gives up that place again to Shadow. Where's the Ferrari gone? Ferrari has pitted of Stephen. I think he didn't want to get held up by these guys. So Stephen in the pits. Will he go to hards or run a two-stopping medium tyre option here? Lightning to the outside. Takes the place. Better drive through 11. Into 12 with a huge lockup. I think both drivers locked up there. The soft tyres are really dying now. These guys are probably going to have to pit now if they've been awake to the fact that Stephen just pitted, because he's going to get the undercut done on them. Meanwhile, Lightning catches a small toe and he's trying to run an extra lap and make an overlap work. But I think Lightning might end up being vulnerable to both Stephen and Shadow as a result of tyre wear and the enhanced grip that the new drivers are going to have. So Lightning has one lap to try and defend against the undercut. Let's find out what kind of time he's able to do at the moment. Just driving round. So Stephen put softs on again, and so did Shadow. So they might be running a soft, hard tyre strategy, which I haven't seen before, I have to say, on this track setup. Lightning has used quite a lot of his ERS and surprisingly doesn't pit again. So drives on past through the pit lane. He won't know that the other drivers have put. He may well have been able to spot driving along a straight. He may well have been able to spot that his rivals have put softs on, and is he committing himself to a soft hard run potentially? Lap 14. He's making these softs run a long time, especially considering how much damage they will have suffered with his aggressive and multi-line long battle with Shadow. Stephen didn't, of course, manage to jump Shadow. I wonder if Stephen was held in the pits, because that gap opened out considerably between Stephen and Shadow. So that doesn't look quite what you would expect it to be. Lightning has a 24, 22 second, 21 second gap to Shadow, so I'm almost certain now that Shadow will get away from him. Front two drivers, here comes Lightning though in the pits. He's serving that 5-second penalty. All our drivers, I was just going to say all our drivers are now penaltyless, but Shadow picks one up. Pyro and Fright Sauce running the softs nice and easy, I'm sure. We'll see how they get on through here. Lightning has lost that place, look, to Shadow. So it's all to do again, and he's gone on the softs as well. So double soft run, interesting to run exactly the same. Strategy as your main rival. I would have thought it'd be good to run a different option, perhaps. Do something different. Jack is driving a very lonely race at the moment. He's got a 27-second gap in front and an 11-12 second gap behind. He has yet to pit though, so and is a lap, almost a lap down on the front two. Let's be kind, half a lap. Pyro running through here. He's managed to save quite a lot of ERS through his regular battles here. Just managing the car, managing the temperatures, certainly managing those tyres, and so is Fright Sauce. 5-second gap between those two drivers. Looks like it's that Lightning picking up another penalty. I think it might have been as he tries to lean on these tyres in the early part here, but Vapor Shadow has got 8 seconds to Lightning's 5. So potentially still some race worth running for Lightning here to try and get Shadow in the end. Let's go back to tyres and see what our drivers are currently doing. Pyro has pitted for medium tyres, so running the medium option next. Fright Sauce yet to pit, and we've got I think Jack there in the pits. Look, Jack's gone on to mediums as well. Will any of our drivers tackle the hard tyres tonight, I wonder? I think the soft medium will be the choice of the day for the most of our drivers, but a soft medium soft is another option. Generally speaking, a 2-stop race. Fright Sauce has definitely made these tyres last well. Let's remember though that his gap was 5 seconds to Pyro at the start. So Pyro just managing his wear on the way into this long run with these medium tyres. Picked up a yellow flag right now, and there you can see Lightning can see Shadow ahead. Jack has pitted. Stephen pitted a while back, of course, but I think was held in the pits either through penalty or by accident. And Stu currently bringing up the rear in the Mercedes. He's lost a lap so far. Remember, the laps are shorter than normal on our races, so to be expected, I guess. Fright Sauce eventually pits 17 lap softs. I wonder what tyres Fright Sauce will go on to. He's made these last so long, I wonder now can he do a hard tyre run to the end, just make it one pit stop. That's potentially there as an option to him. No, yellow tyres are waiting ready for him. Is he trying a one stop? He's got a wing change, so it's going to be a while for him. This will of course resume Pyro's lead of the race. Fright Sauce looks like he's going to lose out to Shadow with that long pit stop. Potentially, yeah, also Lightning. So our two drivers who spent all that time battling are currently on the podium now. And Lightning's Lightning's gap is 2.6 seconds to Shadow. It's much harder for him to stay with him when he hasn't got, of course, the he hasn't got that that DRS to try and help. He's also trying to harvest some ERS back again, I think, but he's actually in a better position than Shadow. Lightning currently on 22%, Shadow on 8. Danger zone for Shadow with his ERS. Needs to stop using it quite so much, I think. So I wonder what will Fright Source do in terms of pit stops here. Lap 20, there's 37 to run. I think he could probably do that on mediums. A little bit of tyre preservation necessary, but I do hope our drivers will pit twice tonight, because otherwise it's a long race of tyre preservation and not much to talk about for me. So currently, team-wise, we've got McLaren, sole McLaren in the grid. In fact, we've got only one of every manufacturer in the on the racetrack right now. So there's not going to be any teammates holding you up in the pits, which will be a relief, I guess. Pyro in the lead in the McLaren. We have Shadow racing for Williams. D rating 8% ERS at the moment. Lightning just sticking with that sort of roughly 20% mark of ERS. He's racing for Alfa Romeo in third place. 5 seconds down the road is Fright Source after that awful pit stop, but he's got 30% ERS at the moment. So doing pretty well and managing that nicely. Not as nicely as Jack though in Haas. He's driving around the 30% mark, and he's 7 seconds further back from Fright Source. Of course, anything could change at any moment. This is motor racing, where drivers, the last component in the car is the human factor, where mistakes are rife and quite possible at any point. But right now, yeah, the gaps have opened up. Lightning still around that 3-second gap is the closest gap on the field. Stu is racing, it looks like solid, or is that a ghost? It's hard for me to tell with the Mercedes. It can be a little bit difficult. I think he might be ghosting at the moment there. Stu, 86 in his name, 86 in his race number. Pyro continuing, I think, to extend his lead. He's managed to harvest more ERS than we've seen on any of our drivers here. Over 50% for Pyro. Lightning's bringing that gap down. Look, 1.8 now, 1.7 fluctuating to Fright Source. I thought Fright Source was behind these guys. Was there a glitch that that has ended up with him appearing much further up the grid? I wonder if that's a glitch, because Fright Source was behind Lightning, I'm fairly certain. Unless, of course, Lightning made a mistake. Did Lightning make a mistake on the track? I hope not, but it is always possible. Lightning currently back down into 4th place, where he was racing before the pit stops, but with Fright Source having made a very long pit stop, I think. Unless the game just glitched back in and recovered his time. Lightning cutting right across the apex. I think he's had enough. I think that's game over for Lightning, is it? Not pushing very hard anyway, so I think he might be headed to the pits. And we'll say goodnight to him, potentially. I wonder if he's racked up any sort of damage. We'll see what happens here. It's pulling off to the side of the track, and so I think maybe playing hide and seek. He's stuck himself there in a hole. I don't think his car's going to come out of there, and potentially other drivers are going to see a bunch of tyre smoke off the track as they continue on through the race. One possible theory on Discord here is that, in fact, rather than a revenge attack by Chris, it was actually our latecomers to the race who potentially thought we were racing in Bahrain long and just went full throttle through the new turn 4. Certainly possible, but yeah, that would be somewhat remiss of them not to check the actual track layout if they didn't manage to do qualifying. The game does put cones all over the main image of the race. It looks like Pyro coming up to lap our Ferrari driver of Stephen here, but an absolute race of attrition tonight, with just 6 drivers left in the running. Stu's Ghost is cruising around because he's I guess the AI is set pretty low and he hasn't caught up with Lightning's retirement yet. Further down the road we've got Fright Source currently in P3, 7.8 seconds away from Shadow. I wonder if he's got more to run here. We're just approaching the halfway point, believe it or not. So I think Lightning was collecting penalties that he disagrees with, and has decided that there's not much point carrying on. Better to go and get some practice for his next race, either next week or his next race that he's got on his schedule. So currently we've still got Pyro in the lead, 17 seconds. Further back is Shadow. Got Fright Source that we're watching here on screen in 3rd place. Jack, 11 seconds further back in the Haas. And then the final real runner, I think, is the Ferrari of Stephen. So the drivers who might not necessarily have front-running pace will get a good first result in our Division 1 race of the start of this season if they can keep themselves running, because there's big points to be had today. Pyro driving very well though. Shadow recovering his ERS but not super fast. Fright Source isn't making a lot of headway into Shadow's gap. Like I say, the gaps are pretty big at the moment. Well, I have Shadow definitely pitting again because he's taking 2 pairs of soft tyres, 2 sets of soft tyres. Stephen likewise. The other drivers might be trying to make a medium stretch to the end, but I think that's going to take some doing. Fright Source will be the most likely to make that work if possible. Remember, if he is in fact running a one-stop race, then he may well get Shadow with penalties as well, of course. So Shadow will need to keep this gap and no smaller than 8 seconds in order to make his race work and keep that 2nd place on the podium. As it stands right now, he will of course be down on he will drop that place. So Fright Source currently in net P2, but penalties can change at any moment with our strict corner cutting on, and of course full damage I think is the order of the day at MFR. So Pyro keeping that lead. Let's have a look on board. How hard is he pushing this race? He's a third of a second over his fastest time. So on this age of medium, I think that is probably pushing pretty hard, in fairness. Shadow is on those soft tyres. Those soft tyres will be coming to the end of their life though, I'm sure. Another 3-second penalty for Vapor Shadow pops up. That means that he's certainly lost that second place to Fright Sauce regardless of further pit stops. Definitely giving that one up. I expect though to see Shadow head into the pits very soon, if not this lap, maybe the one after, for medium tyres. Surely these tyres are dead now, especially if he's just picked up a penalty. And this is something you often see with our league races, not necessarily paying attention to the fact that while pitting a lap earlier may not be strictly their desirable strategy, they will often end up running wide and picking up a penalty and compounding their tyre wear situation over and over. Bad grip equals more penalties quite often, and that of course equals worse race overall time. When I recently did a race commentary for this particular setup, we had a time just over an hour, so I do wonder if Pyro is going to be able to beat that without a safety car just yet. Safety car would certainly warm this one up, wouldn't it? It's half hope for that, but I think with Stu left there not running, here comes Shadow into the pits. With Stu not running, 5 drivers, it's going to be very difficult, especially with the caps, for them to trigger a safety car. They'd have to hit the barrier pretty hard, knock off a wheel or something. So Shadow in the pits, being held to pay one of his penalties. Here comes the tyre change, medium tyres. 26 laps for him to run on those, shouldn't be too much of a problem. Jack leapfrogs him, currently up to P3 on relatively old mediums, and we'll have a look at Shadow and see where this leads him. Fright Sauce just probably chilling and preserving all the energy he possibly can for the rest of the race, not taking anything out of the tyres, in fact not making a lot of headway on the ghost of Stephen at the moment either. So I think Fright Sauce might have kind of settled into second place for this race, and just it's all about bringing the car home at this stage. I think lap 32 of 57. Let's see if Shadow is going to go for fastest lap. I wonder whether he'll try that now that he's on those fresh tyres. It might be his last opportunity to go for fastest lap here. He's currently 1.1 seconds, sorry, 0.6 seconds away from fastest lap. Let's watch him through the sectors, see what he's got to play with. Car turns nicely there into turn 4. So good sector 1. This will be, his tyres won't get any better than this particular time. So we also know Stephen is going to be running, going into the pits very soon. 18 lap softs. He's doing very, very well to keep the car running on 18 lap softs. He's in 5th place. Shadow is under time at the moment for fastest lap, I think, unless that's just his very best. So he needs to get a few more tenths off this run to get that fastest lap. He's a quarter of a second faster than he's been before, but that's still 3/10 slower than Pyro, so he's going to keep going. I think he'll try again anyway. What else is there to do on a race like today than just push for fastest lap? We'll see if our drivers can make any headway on that particular mission. comes though. What's this going to show for his sector times? Oh, he's slightly over. I wonder if that's now the end of this particular challenge to fastest lap. I don't know if Stephen's just running these tyres to bitter end of their life. 20 laps on the softs. I really think that's about the limit. Yeah, I don't think Vapor Shadow is likely to go much faster than that now until he either recovers some ERS or burns all the rest of the fuel off the car. So nobody else is going to be likely to challenge the fastest lap at this particular juncture. We are expecting to see Stephen on the way in. Let's watch Stephen. How are these tyres behaving for him? Problem is, Stephen has turned on his Ghost and has gone to AI. I think. I don't know if that's a deliberate thing or something that he's done just to see the end of this race out. But his laps are not looking amazing with the Ghost. So the Ghost will run to a certain pit stop strategy. Through comes Jack to lap Stephen. Third place laps fifth place. How often do you say that? I can't say I've seen that before in any form of racing. There you go. So in fact it looks like we've actually only got 4 real life drivers committed to seeing this race to the end. So very interesting to see whether drivers' focus and concentration will start to wane, whether fatigue will set in, dare I say whether boredom will set in, but that's certainly a risk when they're driving around in long, open, lonely races like they are right now. On the plus side, if anyone's making highlights of this race, probably wouldn't need to focus much beyond the end of the Lightning and Shadow battle. Try and get different views of what happened at the start there as well. So Shadow right now has lost a place, of course, to Jack, but he's catching him slowly on these tyres with this ERS situation that he's got. He really needs to recover some ERS, not use it for 3 or 4 laps. I think that's just my opinion. You know, I'm only a commentator, but in my opinion, I think Shadow could do with just cruising around, building that ERS as much as possible. Don't spend it, and then the battery can recover quite a lot. The battery really struggles when you get it under the 20% mark to actually harvest properly. But he's gained half a second there on Jack in that lap. Jack's tyres will be not happy at very least right now, and they get past Stu's Ghost again. Still only reading as 1 lap down, Stu, but I think it's likely to be more than that as things all shake out. Get towards the end of the race. Yeah, so Shadow down to 1 second now behind Jack. We're looking for that DRS detection. He's just got under it. It's just gone over. Back under. I think he's going to get DRS. Yeah, he does. So that's only going to help. And it looks like we're about to get another battle. So let's see what Shadow can do. He's up against the Haas this time instead of the Alfa Romeo of Lightning. I don't think it'll bother him too much who he's up against. And he'll be looking to make a clean, simple and straightforward move rather than a really long, protracted battle that he had with Lightning there. I can see somebody in the chat of the Discord asking Shadow something. Well, Shadow is one of the very few drivers who've actually resumed and stuck by racing with us tonight, so he's not going to answer right now, and let's hope he's got his phone turned off in case of getting pinged and being distracted. Yeah, we'll carry on watching this battle. So he's timed his attack now. He's got the DRS enabled. He just shows himself in the mirrors. Just try and put off Jack, because Shadow really hasn't got any ERS to fight with here. So his straight line speed is going to be pretty poor, despite the fact that his cornering grip will be massively better than Jack's. 6-lap mediums are racing 20-lap mediums right here, but cornering speed isn't going to get you an overtake on Bahrain short on its own. Yeah, he's having to stab at the overtake button a little bit there. The DRS is open. He's got a good slipstream. I'm not sure it'll be enough, but he will have much better braking performance. Comes down the inside. I wonder, you know, just how much of an effect the fact that they're racing with the server owner has on these drivers. I don't think it affected Lightning. He wasn't shy about fighting with Shadow, but I wonder if some of the other drivers think, well, he's you don't want to bite the hand that feeds, do you? So if you want to stick around league racing, you will continue to do it with and perhaps give them the kind of respect that they deserve on track, shall we say. Anyway, nice move from Shadow, gets back onto the podium. Looks like Fright Source has pitted, look. So Fright Source has come in. He's going to put softs on. He's not enjoying medium tyres, and that's feedback I've heard from a few drivers before. The medium tyres just don't seem to perform well here in Bahrain short. And drivers just, yeah, generally really preferring to drive around on the softs. This should see Fright Source pitted to the end, but back down to 4th place. So he wants to get back on that 2nd place. He's got 2 drivers to catch and pass. 7 seconds is his first mission for Jack up ahead, and then a further second for Shadow. Pyro's miles ahead of everybody. Pyro might well be on target to lap the field tonight. That will definitely be a talking point if he is going to stay out on these tyres. Let's wait and see. Shadow and Fright Source definitely are drivers who are pitted to the end of this race. So, lap 41 into the 2nd third of the race right now. And Fright Source we'll keep an eye on his sector times and see how he's getting on. Obviously this current lap won't get fastest lap because it's his out lap. He leapfrogs Jack, who currently pits. So will Jack go for softs as well? That does seem to be the obvious choice with 15 laps to run. Should be manageable for even the most aggressive tyre drivers in the field. So here he comes round the bend. 7.7 seconds is his mission to Shadow, and we'll get an idea of how hard he's pushing. Little puff of tyre smoke there, so he's obviously pushing pretty hard. Yeah, he's significantly under his fastest lap time. Let's see, is this the one? Is this the fastest lap for him? Going to cross the line. Just no, he does manage to pick up that fastest lap. Fantastic stuff. So by 1/10, Fright Source gets the fastest lap tonight. I wonder if Pyro stays out, then I don't think he'll beat it. Jack's got a chance to beat it, but his previous laps were not as good. So Fright Source doing very, very well to grab that fastest lap, just taken almost a second out of Shadow's time. New softs against sort of midlife, should we say, midlife mediums. What about Pyro though? How's he doing? You know, look at that. He's still driving just 3/10 off his fastest time. Just discovering new things about the track every lap, and absolutely smashing this race here. He's 46 seconds in the lead. Still getting away from the field, I think. Can he see anybody coming up ahead of him on the straight? He cannot. So it's got there's one person turning down there in the into turn 1. So that's his next target, and that's how he'll be monitoring progress, as well as obviously all of his dashboard displays. But from what he can see ahead of him, that's his pass. That's his plan, is to try and see the next car down the straight and continue passing them over and over again. This has the feel of an endurance race tonight, doesn't it? As I say, certainly maybe an elimination endurance event is the way it looks. So not too long to go now. Pyro, that 46-second gap is stabilised at the moment. If he does pit, of course, that will drop the gap down fairly significantly. 5 seconds is the gap between second and third at the moment. However, we've got that classic penalty situation. Jack and Vapor Shadow are both on 6 seconds of penalties. So already Fright Source is net second place with having managed to get within that delta. So he'll want to do it on track, I'm sure, but maybe won't be too desperate to risk everything in that. And there look at Pyro, still just 4/10 slower in his first sector, while he's running around on 26 lap old mediums. So he's really in a rhythm. He's really getting to know this track. Probably, I imagine these drivers would be seeing Bahrain short corners in their sleep tonight. But to be running around net maybe about a second of a lap, only slower than your fastest time. Here he comes, heading for the pits, so Pyro will pit at the end there. So look for fireworks as he puts on soft tyres and starts to push for fastest lap again. Let's keep an eye on that one. Be going for a maximum haul of points tonight. Soft tyres, of course, the order of the day at this point in the race. And let's see what he's got. Fright Source has extended that fastest lap time to a 1 minute flat, 0.222. So a big chunk of time needed from Pyro. He needs to find 4/10 relative to his best time. Look at the pickup on the outside of the turns. Considering we've only got 4 angry drivers left in the race, there's a lot of tyre pickup been simulated by Codemasters. Insert your own Codemaster jokes here. But anyway, Pyro just going to build the tyres. Look at the ERS he's got left here. He's built his ERS all the way up to full. Done a full battery charge lap. He's going to be going for it, and it'll be a joy to watch him rag this McLaren round Bahrain short towards the end of the race and just go full out. Here he goes. Overtake button is pressed. Maximum attack down the main straight. Let's see what he's got left in the car. There's not a lot of fuel on board to weigh him down, and he's certainly got plenty of practice around here, maximising absolutely everything in the car. He'll be taking higher gears than he was a few laps ago through some of these corners. 6/10 down. He's already got what he needs, so a consolidation through here. He could afford not to bother with the overtake button the rest of the lap if he wanted to just set himself to just dip below, but I get the feeling he might be looking for his absolute best. Yeah, down goes the overtake button. 1.3 seconds faster than his best time so far. He's going to get under a minute. I feel pretty confident in saying that. Here he comes out of the last corner. 55, 56. Let's wait and see. He's going to get himself under there. 58.8, a 1.7 second improvement on his fastest lap. Some drivers in qualifying didn't manage that, and here he is on lap 48. Terrific lap from Pyro. Congratulations. It's going to be a big reach for anybody else to get to get anything like that kind of time. So Vapor Shadow has picked up another 3-second penalty. He won't be in danger of losing his podium, at this point, I'm sure, because Jack in 4th has a 6-second penalty. So let's have a look at the tyres. Lap 48, just 9 to go now. 9 laps left to go. Pyro's on the absolute optimal strategy for everything at the moment. He's just loving life, driving this car. Look at that, a 1 minute absolute flat time from him through there. That's pretty nice achievement to get there. So congrats to him. Really good performance from Pyro. I wonder how much attention he's given to the rest of the field, whether he just thinks, well, this is a standard normal race for me. Get pole and lead from the front the whole race. Doing really well. Fright Source, I don't think he's going to be able to answer him, but we'll go and watch him in a few minutes. He's almost within DRS of Shadow, and will be looking to get himself in 2nd place on the road rather than in the steward's office. That might have to do a trophy swap on the podium even. But anyway, here comes Pyro. I wonder if he's named after the dragon, famous of PlayStation gaming of old. Let's hope so. Anyway, Fright Source, here we go. On the attack and looking to try and get Shadow as this race closes out. He's on soft tyres, Shadow's on pretty old mediums, so not going to be much left in the tank for Shadow here. Fright Source down to 10% on ERS. Vapor just trying to break that toe by moving around on the start-finish straight. He's only got about 11-12% ERS as we look at him still spending it, still spending whatever he's got. I wouldn't want to be one of Shadow's friends the week before payday, because it looks like he'd have spent all of his money before the end of the month. Anyway, I jest, of course. Fright Source down to 4/10 now. Again, we saw him make a pretty convincing move earlier on in the race, so let's hope he can do the same kind of thing. But Shadow has shown he's not afraid to battle, and something I've been wondering about these league drivers, whether they would consider, if they're racing with a penalty, whether they consider trying to push their rival across an apex a few times to try and get the penalties equalised. I wonder, is that a legitimate tactic? There's a question for the ethics manual writers. But anyway, Fright Source back on the attack. DRS open. Lost out quite a portion of time there, just being patient through turn 1 and 2. Needs to wait for the ideal opportunity, but really doesn't need to be very aggressive about it. Doesn't need to push hard, doesn't need to race outside of the rule book. He can just cruise around here for a while, wait till he's got a big ERS delta and spend it all in one go. He's not even using it here, look. Just gonna keep piling the pressure. There we go, the ERS comes on. Shadow pulls to the inside, forces Fright Source to the outside. Fright Source in the marbles, lets him have the inside line, and like I say, just deals with this quite patiently. Firstly, he's racing against someone with way more penalties than he's got, and secondly, he's racing with the league owner. It's kind of like having a World Championship contending teammate kind of mentality, perhaps, if you're racing with the league owner. We will see. Fright Source, I think, must have quite a different setup here to Shadow, because he's really drops back in the middle sector from him, whether he's favouring top speed potentially and just hasn't got much downforce. Time will tell. Got a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. hope that's not Pyro kind of falling asleep at the wheel. I'm sure it's not. He's extended his gap out to 34 seconds despite the pit stops. So 2 stops, definitely order of the day for all of our drivers. It's just a matter of which order they took the medium on. Here comes Fright Sauce. Attacking. Just trying to be patient here. Maybe getting super close through these corners, and the final corner of the race, maybe that's his best opportunity. Look, 35% ERS, plays 11%. If he gets a good drive off this final corner, then it will be overtake button all the way. It's 3 laps to run. It's not a huge amount of opportunities left available to him. This must be it for him. Overtake button switches on. Shadow goes to the inside, and Fright Sauce is miles ahead, even by midpoint of the straight. So it was all about timing there, all about just making sure that last corner traction was the way to go. And Fright Sauce up to P2 on the road, where you've got Shadow in P3 now on much older and different tyres. Jack, I wonder, has Jack turned his car off? No, Jack's still racing, but he has been lapped by Pyro. I wonder if Jack got out of the way of Pyro to be lapped, and that's why perhaps we had that yellow flag, I wonder. Anyway, Shadow is trying to fight on. Gamely trying to fight on here. Lap 55 of 57, so just 2 or 3 minutes left of our race. Shadow still spending all of that ERS. It's down to 0 now, so that battery is going to be wiped out. They're going to have to take it out of the car and throw it away at the end of this race. There's just nothing left to fight with at all. He's still within DRS though, so he's going to hang on to that as long as possible. Perhaps just entertaining himself here, trying to stick with the rest of the drivers in the field. I'm not finished too far away. So 37-second gap is Pyro's advantage. Remember, this is only a 1 minute and 2 second lap under racing conditions. So mighty impressive. He's lapped up to 4th place. Jack gets another penalty. He's not stopped pushing. Look, he's come out on those soft tyres. So Jack now going for the fastest lap in the last 2 laps of the race. We'll keep an eye. Let's see what he can do. But he did pick up another penalty. So let's watch the fastest lap deltas. Let's say Jack's got a long way to go to try and make that up. Let's go and have a look at him until we give Pyro his lap of honour. Jack not currently on target. He's doing well though. He's doing well. Here comes Pyro though. Pyro coming through the last few corners. Well, the first few corners of the lap. Just a few to run now. He's raced majestically through this race and absolutely dominated the fastest lap. Pit stops, the strategy, the first lap, fracas, the pole position. Really, really good stuff from Pyro, closing out the race. Driving super well, spending everything he's got left in the overtake button. And here he comes up to, that's his final time through that corner, weaving around on the straight and takes the win in Bahrain. Well done to Pyro. Congratulations, great race, good strategy, and you can't see anybody even in his mirrors, can he? Let's watch the 2 guys still battling here, halfway around the track at the moment. Vapor has dropped Fright Sauce, sadly. I don't think anyone's going to beat that fastest lap of Pyro's. Fright Sauce will take the final corner. He will head towards the line. I wonder if he'll thank his team. No, this isn't a team victory for him. It's everybody gets P2, crosses the line, Shadow P3, and Jack will cross the line shortly in P4. He will be a lap down, and there's Jack taking P4. Race of attrition, definitely worth continuing to run. Our two other drivers who will classify as finishers tonight, of course, have got their problems. Jules somehow gets driver of the day according to Codemasters. I doubt we'll hang with that one. Here's Pyro with a horrid dance on the podium. There he goes. Lifts the trophy for McLaren. Great start to the season for Pyro, for Fright Sauce, and for Shadow. Perfect stuff. Really good to see. Congratulations to our drivers, and we'll take you through the grid very shortly. Okay, here we go. So Pyro getting pole, fastest lap, and the win. The grand slam of Formula One racing. Pyro takes the win. Fright Sauce second, Shadow third, Jack Stegall in fourth for Scotland. And we have Stephen and Stu were ghosting at the end. Lightning put in a really good showing for us. MC Gamer disappeared fairly early on. And then probably the rest, the less said about the rest of our drivers, the better for tonight's performances. Well, it's been a pleasure being with you all, and thank you for the invite to commentate on MFR. I will catch you all on the next race day.